I normally find it very difficult to do this, but I think I've picked my 8 favourite plants for the summer. These plants are a mixture of plants that bring me joy when I walk into my plant room, but also plants that are really easy and low maintenance to look after. I've got such a busy family life, I've got loads of plants, and I just need a few plants that are forgiving if I don't water them regularly, plants that are low maintenance but that bring me lots of joy. So this is my selection of my 8 favourite plants this summer, so let's get going. Number 1 has got to be my Variegated Monstera. I bought this plant 4 years ago. Although I say plant, it was one leaf that was unrooted, which means it didn't have any roots on. I'm going to try and pick it up, but this leaf right here was the original leaf that I bought with no roots on. I stuck it in water and roots grew. I potted it up and it's grown into a monster. It's hit the ceiling. I'm going to show you a full video of the plant because it's so big I won't be able to get it all in, but I'm so proud of this plant, and whenever I walk into my plant room it just puts a smile on my face because I remember this one leaf that I bought 4 years ago. It's just hit the ceiling, it's taller than me, and I had no choice to chop it and make more plants. It's really floppy and it's just completely outgrown the choir pole, and I just thought it's just time to make more plants, which I did. Where are they? Here. Hang on, I'm just going to move this out of the way because I don't have room to show you what I've cut. And I'm going to show you the full plant in a minute. But these are 2 cuttings that I took from my plant, and I put it in about maybe a couple of months ago, and it's grown some lovely roots, which I am going to pot up really soon. So I'm so chuffed. There's 2 cuttings here. So I've got 2 brand new plants, and I'm so pleased with how this plant's turned out. From one leaf that had no roots on to a giant monster plant that I just love having around. So this is my number 1 favourite plant this summer because it's produced some brand new plants for free. A bit of a close-up of my Variegated Monstera. This was the original leaf, unrooted. I bought this leaf with no roots on. I stuck the stem in some water and some roots grew very quickly. I potted it up, and this is what this plant has grown into right now. It's got some brand new growth coming out here, but it's massive and it's hit the ceiling, and that's why I've had to cut and trim and chop the plant. It was as tall as, well, taller than me actually, and I cut it right here, and it's growing a new leaf. Beautiful. Number 2 is a Begonia Tamaya. It's such a leggy, messy plant. Let me get it and I'll show you. This is my Begonia Tamaya, and you may have seen it in some previous videos that I have on here, but it's such a beautiful plant, and I feel this is the plant that gives on giving because I've cut and propagated this plant probably every month, because I make more plants. I propagate it because I have a school project. Before I talk more about the plant, let me tell you about my school project that I use this plant for pretty much every month because it grows so well. So my school project is that I cut plants and make more plants for local schools, and I donate it all potted up for their wellbeing rooms to inject a bit of greenery so that the students and the teachers can enjoy some plants in their wellbeing rooms. This is my trusted plant that I propagate every time. It produces some beautiful flowers. These are some cuttings that I've cut recently, and I don't know if you can see the roots on there, but they are almost ready to pot up. But I just love the Begonia Tamaya. It's so easy to care for, and if I don't trim it, it just becomes really leggy, and it just goes all over the place, which is actually really cool. But if you're running out of room like me in my plant room, you do need to keep it a bit maintained and a bit trimmed. I just love the flowers as well. The only downside I find with this plant is when the flowers are finished blooming, you can see they literally just drop all over the floor, and it makes a big mess in my plant room. But I don't mind because I love the plant. It's my forever giving plant because I'm forever cutting it and propagating it and making more plants, and it's just really beautiful, really easy to look after. It's not asking for much. It's quite forgiving. If I don't water it every week, it's fine. And I just love the spots on it. I love the flowers. I just love everything about this plant. So Begonia Tamaya is my number 2. Number 3 is my Elkhorn Fern. Such a fascinating plant, and I've never had one until I've had this. So forgiving, it's so different. I love the leaves, but also these brown looking pads on here are called shield fronds. I don't know if you can see these shield fronds. They go brown with age. It doesn't mean they're dead, but in their natural habitat, these shield fronds collect nutrients for the plant. But also what I love about this, in the wild, in their natural habitat, the plant attaches itself to tree trunks. It doesn't grow in soil, and it traps the nutrients and mist from the natural environment around it. And that's how the plant survives. So fascinating. And I honestly forget about this plant. I don't water it as often probably as I should, but it's happy. It's happy in its spot. It's got a bright spot out of direct sunlight, and I just love the shape of the leaves. So another one of my favourite plants. If you don't have one of them, I can really recommend for ease, but also it's quite striking to have in a plant room or in any space. They're really easy to look after. Number 4 is my Roadkill Cactus, and I thought it deserves a spot in my video because every time when I make a video, someone comments about what's the plant in the background, what is it called? And it's so different. It's so fascinating. I bought this plant when I went to BBC Gardeners World live with a couple of friends, and it just reminds me of my day out, and I love it. It's called a Roadkill Cactus because of the flattened pads looking like it's been run over. It's super easy to look after. It's very low maintenance, is what I need, especially in the summer. I've been running around my family and I have not had the chance to water all of my plants as often as probably I should, but they're all happy. And it's in a bright spot, it gets some direct sunlight and minimal water, and it's really happy. It's got some new growth coming out of these tips, which I can see. So this is my number 4, my Roadkill Cactus. Number 5 is my Philodendron Florida Green. That's a mouthful, but I love this plant for the leaf shape and just how much it's grown over the summer. It's in my corridor windowsill, so when I come out of my bedroom in the morning and the sun is shining on the leaves like it is here, it just puts a smile on my face. It's outgrown the pot. It definitely needs more support, which I will do, but I just love the shape of the leaves and how forgiving it is if I don't always water. Believe it or not, but this is another Philodendron Florida Green. Not looking so great, but I had 2 plants and this one was a little bit neglected because I forgot about it in a corner of my house and it didn't quite survive the darker corner. But I took it out the soil, I cleaned up the roots. The roots are actually looking quite healthy and it does have some new growth. So my job for this week is to repot this plant, pop it into fresh soil, and no doubt it will grow into something like this or hopefully even bigger. I might even pop the 2 up together so I've got a bigger plant. So I'll update you how I get on with this one, but this is another Philodendron, Florida Green. It just doesn't look like it at the minute, but I love this plant. Really easy, loves a bright spot, out of direct sunlight, and it just puts a smile on my face because of these very unusual, quite quirky looking leaves. Number 6 is the classic pothos. The reason I love this plant, and it's quite sentimental to me, is because my son potted it up, I think maybe about 6 months ago. It was a really tiny plant. I think this was perhaps the original, or it was this size anyway, and now it's turned into a really beautiful trailing plant. I need to repot it. I haven't even checked the roots to see. Oh, the roots are coming out the bottom, which is a sign that it needs a repot. But the reason I love this is because of the sentimental value it brings me. And I remember the time when he potted it up. I've got many pothos varieties. I even have a bigger version of this, but I don't mind having another one just because of the sentimental value it brings. And my hope is to, once I have a bit of time, create a pothos wall with all of these beautiful trailing pothos just trailing down. You can never have too many of them. So love this plant, love the colour and how easy it is to look after, and especially, oh, that's cracked. It's not broken. And especially when it starts to trail, it's just so lovely. Number 7 is my Polka Dot Begonia. 2 reasons why I love this plant: because I love polka dots, especially on a plant, and I love the flowers. Actually, 3 reasons. I rescued this plant from a really tiny, dry cutting, and I thought there's no way this plant's going to survive. But it did, and it's been flowering all summer long, and I just make sure that the soil never dries out too much. I have it in a spot where I can check it regularly. But I love it, and it does need a bit of better support perhaps. It definitely needs a bigger pot. I haven't even checked the roots. Oh, there are a couple of small roots poking out the bottom, but not too bad. But I love this plant. I love the polka dots. I love the flowers, and the fact that it has survived from being a really tiny, dry little plant. But it's such a statement plant. It's in a corner amongst my green plants, and it just brings that lovely polka dot vibe to my plant room. Also a bit of a close-up of my Polka Dot Begonia and these beautiful flowers, because I don't think you could see it in the sun, but how beautiful are they? And this lovely plant has flowered for me all summer long, and I can't get enough of it. Number 8 is another classic, the Tradscantia Zebrina. The reason I love this is because it reminds me of growing up in South Africa. I'm South African and I grew up there, had a nature-based upbringing, and these plants grew in our garden. So I remember going out and just picking a few stems like you would pick flowers, putting it into some water and watching the roots grow and potting it up and just making more and more plants. You can pot them into soil directly, but I prefer to see the roots grow. But this plant has such a memory for me of growing up, and it's so easy. It's starting to trail. I love the colour. It's really easy to look after. So my 8th plant is the Tradscantia Zebrina, and again it holds a lot of memories, and yeah, just love having it around and thinking back to my time when I grew up, walking around barefoot, climbing trees and making more plants for free. I hope you enjoyed seeing my 8 favourite plants for the summer. I've got so many more, and as summer is ending, the weather is turning, it's definitely getting a little bit cooler. I just thought I'd love to make a video of my 8 favourite plants this summer. I love this time of year. I love the changes of season, the smell of bonfires or people's fires lighting up. I love that. So I like to reflect on the summer we've just had, and these were my favourite plants for sentimental value, for memory value, but also just loving looking at them in my plant room. If you have any questions about the plants, or if you have any of them, or if you've got any favourite ones, please drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.